This broadcast is appropriate for all ages right here on Jam on Toast. It's time for the Watch Spot. Salutations, I am Kamurai. I am conversation ready. Today we're here to talk about things and stuff we've been watching. Particularly streaming media and whatnot, because cable's dead. I don't know if you've heard. Couple quick notes for news and stuff. Cable is going to be, I guess, a villain, antagonist, whatever, in Deadpool 2. They're bringing out X-Force. Apparently that's going to get its own movie eventually. I didn't realize that. Infinity War, apparently. The thing that they're calling Infinity War is out. I'm a grumpy Gus about the Marvel U. The DCU is an outright disaster, so there's no questioning that. But the TV shows are okay, but the Marvel U is gross. But Thanos should be cool to see, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Let's get on with it. I did notice something, because I'm a Rooster Teeth fan. I noticed something. So maybe this gap, this vacancy is finally being filled. It caused me to do a little bit of research, not a lot, mind you, but Funhouse, Achievement Hunter has been talking about it for about a year, so they're about due to come out with something. I think the way they did it was they made Funhouse do it first, kind of similarly to how Funhouse ended up doing the TV first, which I still don't know if I agree with. I need to... Well, I'm not going to. I have no desire to sit and watch random shit that comes up on their thing. It's like, I want to watch what I want to watch. It's the whole point of new media. But they filmed a video of questionable quality, if you want to put it that way. But my point being, it's a very simple set. They actually have good production value in it, being that, like, they have camera operators and whatnot. But it's 5 of them sitting around a table, playing Coup. It's called Bored as Hell. This is the first episode, just came out this past week or so. So it's kind of a tabletop for Funhouse, essentially. Funhouse tabletop, whatever you want to call it, like, to get that across. It's Will Wheaton's show, but on Funhouse. But it's not, because it's really not nearly as good as his was. And they put a lot of work into that, so if you have other things you do in life, maybe it's not feasible to do it that way. And having as being someone who's actually filmed episodes like this that Funhouse has done, I can tell you straight up, it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. But it's definitely fun, and apparently there's some kind of demand for it, at least in the Rooster Teeth community. So we're seeing Bored as Hell come up. I'm expecting the Achievement Hunter to do their own version, but I don't know who's going to run it. Because usually Jeff does something, he arbitrates it to somebody else, and then he abandons it for all time. So looking into things, the last tabletop that I could find was September 13th, 2017. It was the Eldritch Horror one, and having played that game somewhat recently, I'm sure we did it wrong, but it was not the most fun, so I can only imagine how the episode went, but maybe they got all into it and they spun it really well. Geek and Sundry has a lot of cool stuff going on. Critical Role, of course, I think is kind of their main bread and butter right now. Lots of other things going on. They also have other gaming shows in lieu of tabletop. So let's go ahead and look at that. That is Game the Game. I have no idea who these people are. I take it back. I recognize them, but I don't know who they are. Like, if that makes any sense at all. So this may have been like their junior members game or something. But it looks like it's basically going to be a random cast. It looks like the one lady that you can't see me pointing at is Becca Scott. Is your game tutor explaining the game mechanics in easy to follow ways so you can get to playing games faster. So apparently this is a tutorial thing, how they figure out kind of how to work the angles of the game, maybe. I'm willing to bet that it's pretty much just a tutorial how to play this and that, but not putting a how-to in the title, I think, hurts them. But the titles are gonna get pretty long at that point, because Fallout, the board game, the game, how to play, like, I don't know. But it's helpful, you know. It goes down that search algorithm thing that you'd have to deal with. So the thing that is pissing me off, because I know that I have 360 video or spherical video on my channel, but the other one is now your turn, and it looks like it's more of the junior members. I recognize Satine, and her name just happens to be up on the screen right now, but the whole idea is that you are sitting at the table with them with the spherical camera, and you can move your head around using Google Cardboard. Now, you can, like, I know there's a mode where you can do that on the website, because I've done a video or two like that, and I think I'm on the wrong channel. I think it was over on Gaming Division. Was probably the easier way to find that, now that I'm thinking about it. Man, I just went from, like, Gaming Division to Gaming Division 528, which is my channel. It looks dorky as shit, and that's fine. I actually don't have a problem with that, but, the hell was number 12? What's this? That is the most bizarre thing, to go to your channel and see someone else's name on the related channels. Dungeon Keeper? What the fuck is this shit? Somebody, like, hacked and, like, put their thing on me. This is bullshit. Bullshit. Alright, let's get back to the task at hand. Barbarossa. One of these should be 360. Spherical. Okay, here we go. I didn't... Oh, shit. Okay, I didn't mark one of them. So...
Gaming Division.
Hello! Okay, yeah, so you can do it so that you can grab the video and move it around. Give me just a second. I will do a monitor capture. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let's change that to 2. So you can see here, like, you can do this. And this is me playing.
Hello and welcome to Gaming Division. I am Kamurai, and today we're going to play a little...
Florida. This is my studio, my shit studio. You can look around and see all the horrible shit. But here's the game. And so this is what they should have done, because I believe this automatically converts to the Google Cardboard, where you actually end up moving your head around, and it does that same thing. So it's really interesting to see the approaches that they're taking to doing the same exact thing. Playing board games and such, that you can do it so many different ways is interesting. When I've done it by myself or with people, I typically, like, do an overhead cam, and I do 1 or 2 straightforwards, and I record everything and I pop together later in editing. It's more of, like, the poor man's choice of things. You know what? Fuck me. Okay, let's get back on to more traditional sources of entertainment. I swear the movie list on CBS shrinks every week, and I have no idea what it is. I just know there's a shit ton of Pink Panther, Popeye, Hotel Rwanda, A Fish Called Wanda, Valkyrie, Thinner, and Bulletproof Monk are still there. And I think I'm going to watch that tonight to go to bed, because I like exercising this, because it shows them that there's a demand for it. And Bulletproof Monk's really the only thing there. Maybe Thinner that I'd want to watch. Just, of course, the Pink Panther's not a franchise that I care about. And maybe they're trying to... Oh, Moonstruck's there, too. So maybe they're trying to portray to an older audience. Get them converted over. Here's the sound. Oh, they turned it off. Somebody over there smart. They got rid of the annoying sound. Right? Yeah, my speakers aren't up. Okay, so sorry that made sound and I couldn't hear it for some reason. I've not started the good fight. I'm way behind on the things that I want to do for watches, and every time I go to look for something to watch that's not what I usually watch, my brain's never in the right place to prioritize what I want to do. I probably need to actually make like a to-watch spreadsheet or something. But the good fights on that list, I need to go back and figure that out. But Monday night lineup did not happen this past week. No Kevin Can Wait, no Man with a Plan, no Superior Donuts, despite the show, I think, souring. I'm trying to remember what happened last Thursday, but we probably talked about that, I'm assuming. Maybe I didn't get it. We had Penny discovering a comet that Cooper probably didn't want to share because he's a jackass. And I really have no idea where that storyline went. I remember Stuart actually had business at the comic book shop because some celebrity that they kept ignoring showed up there. So personally, I find that a little funny. It's raining again. Rawr, rawr, rawr. Young Sheldon's Meemaw going on dates with a college professor. That reminds her of Sheldon. Is one of the funniest angles. I'm really glad they did that as an episode. Because one of the things they need to do more in that show, honestly, is show Sheldon's life by showing other people in his life. That's really like how you make that really sell. You show his experiences with things. Every time I move something on here, everything moves farther off the edge. So I'm really happy they did that. It was really cool to see that. It was cool to see the guy she was dating again. It's the smart guy from Princess Bride. Inconceivable! That guy. He's fun. Mom was interesting. I think Christy is starting to date, change sponsors. Marjorie's going through like a lot of shit. So she had a whole thing where she was the mess for once and everyone's actually trying to take care of her. It's so funny to see these characters that are designed to be so self-centered and almost intolerable actually like grow and develop as people and like become not like profitable or good members of society per se, but beneficial to each other if no one else. So they're building themselves up slowly, mind you, but like it's every episode the world's a slightly better place. It's a weird underlying positivity for something that is very easily perceivable as a negative connotation. If you know someone who's an alcoholic or if you know people who do AA and stuff, they may relate to the show a lot, but there are aspects of that lifestyle and that life that aren't so fun, if we're being honest. Life in Pieces. I don't remember all the storylines. What I do remember is the idiot children who got married renting out the only place they live so they can crash at a friend's house temporarily and then moving back into the big house so that some other idiot can live in there in the tiny house for like 6 months. What I'm hoping this does is give us a new character to kind of freshen the show a little bit, because I think some parts of it are starting to stale. Like I like the little girl. I like Zoe Lister-Jones and Colin Hanks. I don't like the grandparents. And the family is a little weird. I don't like Colleen and the guy that she's dating, which is a brother in the family. Like they're fun one-offs, but like I don't know. It's like eating food that's too heavy for what you want to eat at the time. It's such a bizarre way, but like the dysfunction in the big family at least is entertaining like the majority of the time. Watching grown men get babied and stuff is this or that. Like I didn't even really like it with Sheldon and his mom so much. Okay, and so now I have to do the thing where I have to stop it from playing because it's gonna do it anyways. Stop. Okay, iZombie. So happy this show is back. So happy. I got caught up a little bit. So I'm no longer on the part where she's missing a tooth, and I'm laughing at that. I got through the ballerina episode, but I can't tell from looking at this which one it is. The most interesting thing happening recently, though, is Clive. He's the black cop that's partners with Liv the zombie, our main two characters, if you will, because of his relationship with the FBI agent. When the FBI agent that he was dating became a zombie, they decided they can't bang anymore. So they moved to an open relationship so that they could get that need met elsewhere. And they both kind of made the assumption that each other were banging other people. So they moved forward trying to bang other people. And both the attempt to get that process started and the realization that it hadn't actually started were both rewarding in its own tasty way. But Clive messed up. So not only is his world around him crumbling with New Seattle, his personal life is starting to crumble. And then now we're seeing a very similar vein going on with Blaine, I think, is the mobster guy, because he's finally discovered that his dad is back, and he and his dad hit some kind of weird accord to supplement food to the followers of the church, like once a week or something. So he's going to end up strengthening his father's power base by so much. And I'm just waiting for the end of the episode where we break out into war, because it's coming. There's too many zombies. It just doesn't work out. Even like in vampire movies where you have a kiss, like it just doesn't work because of hunting population. You need massive amounts of synthetic food in order to have it work, especially since people don't have the best etiquette for eating when their food is people. What makes sense is to take a little bit and leave the prey alive if you need it like that. And they're just killing and wasted food left and right. It's ridiculous. So we're going to see Seattle become a zombie town next season at this point. Like, I'm sorry, a wraith town, a white town, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, and Liv had a fun bit where she was like pretending to be like an actress or something, and she was doing all this stuff like trafficking people in the town and whatnot, and it's like, oh, here's your role, this and that. And Rachel Bloom got to show up. That was nice. So being that this came out on the 23rd, I probably not seen that one. So Hate the Brains is probably the ballerina episode. And the week before that, Clive was a heroin addict for a week because he ate heroin addict brains. But I'm looking forward to seeing what is Chivalry is Dead. I'm assuming we're continuing the theatrics some way, shape, or form. Arrow, the turn with I can't remember his name, Diaz, rising in the power base is interesting, but I don't know. It's not terribly okay, I lied. It's not interesting. I made a mistake. It's not interesting. It's okay, that's the thing that happened, because apparently that show needs the city to be in mortal danger every second of every day, and it's really exhausting. The DCU shows are like, they're exhausting. That really is what they are, because there's never a moment of reprieve where we get to like see life happen. Like, what are we fighting for? Like, at this point, just let the city burn, and then maybe there'll be something interesting on the other side of that rainbow. Rainbows happen after rain, not fire. I should remember that. Smokescreen. I think that's the words I was looking for. Funeralia on Supernatural. I don't know. And Bring Him Back Alive and The Thing, like Dean and what's his name? The British idiot. Catch actually teamed up to go to the other side. Not the other side, the other dimension where their mom, or Dean's mom, is, and they had a really bad time trying to get there and get stuff and come back. And when Dean came back, they lost all their advantages on this end. They made very little progress over there. So like now it's up to Catch and alternate Charlie to lead the effort to rescue Mom and stop Michael if possible. And Catch is good, but I don't know if he's that good, because he essentially went to the other dimension to get away from the Demon Lord guy that he pissed off. The Demon Prince, I apologize. And if I remember correctly, Gabriel, who was alive, smote him, essentially. He did like a remote exorcism or something, and on a demon prince, no less. So he's definitely got the juice, which is what tells us that he's the archangel that we actually need, because Lucifer, for whatever reason, now that he's moved into heaven, really can't seem to get the job done. Now, the problem with Lucifer, especially, is that he turned against. He is the original traitor angel. So maybe he's not connected to the power of heaven as much as he used to be. And where Gabriel has always, though he's doing his own thing, been part of the collective. So maybe putting him back up there and on the throne will actually be a thing that he can do, where he can actually juice up heaven. He can get more souls in. He can convert souls to angels or something. There's got to be a way with everything, and hopefully Lucifer just keeps playing nice. But I'm trying to figure out who the antagonist is at this point. If Lucifer isn't playing the bad guy, and the demon princes can't play the bad guys, what are we really shooting for here? Because I guess it's Michael. It's the alternate Michael in the other dimension that is the bad guy on that show, and this could get interesting if we actually see Lucifer and Gabriel team up somehow for some length of time. That could be the power source that makes baby angels or whatever. Looking forward to it. I've not got caught up on Black Lightning, so I'm going to be sad about that. Supergirl, I know I watched something recently. Oh yeah, it was a whole stupid thing where Wynn's dad died, and then he booby-trapped his own corpse, and then he had his mistress hunt down and kill his son because his mom intervened. Crazy people are, I don't know. Like, and the worst of it is that, okay, his dad's insane. He's a psychotic, sure. But he found and converted somebody else. So it's like a knockoff Harley Quinn, but not nearly as exciting. I don't know. It's not... It seems weird for them to rip off their own universe like that. It's like, no, we get that Arrow's a joke on Batman, but let's just... I don't know. Let's move forward. But it was kind of nice to see like a thing that was more emotionally damaging than like physical threat, because Supergirl could handle everything except for when she got put in a doll box. That was interesting. Like it was like a blister pack. It like clapped on her, and then she couldn't move. So I guess she couldn't get enough momentum, and then she was losing oxygen. I think that's safe to say that Supergirl and Superman and Hulk all need oxygen to stay awake to do things. So there is that. Just saying. And this In Search of Lost Time. So that came out the same day as iZombie or whatever. So I got to put that to watch. Oh my god. I definitely haven't caught up on Riverdale either. I don't know how I'm going to force myself to do that. It's going to have to be either Sunday or Saturday. And I'm just going to have to sit down and make myself do it. God, though, guys. My heart's a pitter-patter. I know that's my hand, but still. Oh, the 100 is back. Came out yesterday, day before yesterday. Still, my heart. Now, I know Erica Serra is working on Supernatural as one of the angels there, or one of the kind of the de facto lead angel. But I'm hoping that she comes back in some fashion in the 100. And I don't know if it would be in more than a memory, but there's going to be a new faction or something to deal with in this season, and I'm super excited. And I don't know any more than like what's been poorly advertised for it, because I've been trying to stay away, but I can't wait to see this. I may that's probably what I'm going to do after Gaming Division's podcast. Man, so the Flash, I did get caught up on Flash. It was really kind of heart-turning to see El Chapo show up and be losing his powers because of old age. Like, I didn't know how to feel about that. I was like, wow, we're actually hitting like real-ish issues in this show. We're dealing with weakness of mortality and whatnot. So it was a lot of dealing with his problems and then trying to plan for DeVoe. Because I don't think there was a lot of action in this show. I could be wrong. But at some point in this, spoilers, Ralph does get taken. And then something happens with Killer Frost where she's depowered. I'm really curious about what that is, because it's like, what's happening there? Is the dark matter able to cancel out her meta abilities? But now that he's got Ralph's body, is Ralph really gone? Even if Ralph is really gone, is he now invincible? We know that like the goo or whatever was the only thing that really ever hurt Ralph. Do we know if the Thinker knows that? His wife has started to find out that he's drugging her to stay with her, and playing off that weakness, like giving her a love potion essentially. It's really despicable. Like at one point, like I thought there was like a redeeming quality to the Thinker, and that like, okay, so he's a good villain where it's like he thinks he's doing the thing that needs to be done for whatever his real motivations are, and it's not like that at all. He probably really knows that he's being a douchebag and a half, but unless like a secret motivation to save the world comes out, I'm not sure what it is, because his motivation doesn't ever seem to be to like kill the Flash, or really take over the world. It's just to be awesome, and I don't know what to do with that. Like, yeah, I want to take him down a peg. I want to sick Gorilla Grodd on him, but I don't know. Like, it's a weird thing. He's a weird character, especially with the multiple power sets. And I'm hoping just kind of explodes. It's like, yeah, you were filled with dark matter. What did you expect? And dark matter is not what that is. It's just the MacGuffin word, or the magic word they're using to explain away his stuff. That's cat butt. Oh, I got you, didn't I? I did. Look, I got her. So I'm assuming that all happened in Lose Yourself. It's kind of a weird follow-up, but it looks like they brought back Snart, or alternate Snart maybe, to like steal a nuclear weapon and move it, because he can cool things a special way. That's his thing. But so maybe between him and Frost, like maybe it was a thing where like Frost is like, well, if I could be in two places at once, it's like, we know a guy that can put me in two places at once. I don't want to breach like that. And maybe it's more like, no, we know another guy who can freeze. Life Sentence. There's the other show on CW that I'm actually actively excited about. It's been stuck on 1 through 5 for a while, and if it didn't have a trailer here for episode 6, I'd be concerned. Like, we hit a weird spot, maybe it was with spring breaks and stuff, of like pauses in video production that I didn't understand. I really don't understand where people put the breaks and stuff at for things like that. Like, I understand in new media, because like people like Rooster Teeth or whatnot, they want to go home for the holidays and everything too. So that's when that's happened. So that's when they do it. So that's when they halt production. But they film ahead of time and they put it out. TV shows and stuff that only do a fixed number of episodes just don't film random times, so that as long as they meet their X amount of episodes per year, or per season, because it's not really per year, they don't give a shit. They just go on. And I'm not saying that these people don't work hard and deserve a break, and they shouldn't have to go week to week. I'm not saying that's not the case. But it's just weird that we still have that mindset, even though we've, like, new media has taken over a lot of prominence, and even done web series season to season in the same horrible scheduling, where it's like week to week to week to week to week until it's either done They meet X number of episodes for the year, but they do them like pretty much consecutively no matter what. Or they do them all at once and they release them week to week. Or like things like Rooster Teeth for Ruby and Halo and whatnot, they're being produced week to week and they run seasons. But I don't know. It's interesting. Good, the Bad, and the Cuddly. Oh yeah, they Jonah Hex. I think that was a good character. It's a shame that he only shows up ever so often. I don't know why they go back to his time so often. Okay, now that brings us to either Amazon, Hulu, or Netflix. I didn't plan this out properly, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through Amazon. Black Panther is coming out beginning of next month, like May 9th or something. So we're actually going to end up slotting that into We Are Movie Club. Because we've been doing the Marvel theme. So this next week is Marvel Homecoming. So that's Sunday. And so the next Sunday let me actually look at a calendar. Fuck. Oh, I may have to pad it one. So fuck me. I think I really messed up. Oh, this is great to actually see this. So the idea was going to be that it comes out whenever it comes out. Available on May 8th. So May 8th is a Tuesday. So Sunday the 29th and Sunday the 6th are both before that. Man. You think you got a good thing going. So, oh good, I haven't posted it yet. I think I did that on, no, I didn't do that on purpose. I did that because I ran out of slots. So you only have 5 slots on Rabbit. So next week is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming. I've got to find something else to slot in that following week, and then the week after that's going to be Black Panther. So I'm going to have to confer with someone about that. Because I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm going to go ahead and buy it, or whatever I need to do to make that happen. But we did watch Tusk, which I have in my Amazon library as well. This past Sunday for Bad Movie Club. Not that it's a bad movie per se, but he does put a guy in a walrus suit. Just saying. So it is pretty rough, if you will. Walruses don't say rough. But Justin Long can do anything. He'd be the shark in Jaws for all I care. He's a pretty damn good actor, and Michael Parks makes a great antagonist. Dude can talk, and he waxes rather poetically in this movie and in Red State, which we watched the week before. I tried to watch Prosty, which I think is supposed to be a movie making some kind of statement on the sex work trade, and subtitles couldn't stand it. I'm gonna be a hypocrite later, but that's what it was. And then I tried to watch. I was looking for random shit, so I wasn't in the mood to like think about stuff. I just wanted to put a movie on so it could tell me a story, so I could go to sleep. Beware the Lake. From the cover, it's a girl with a nice butt in a bikini walking through what I'm assuming is a lake. And there's skulls all over the bottom of the floor with the water pretty clear. And the title's in a nice spot. Like I liked the cover art enough that I was like, yeah, let's give that a try. That looks like my movie. And sure enough, the quality was not where I wanted it to be. It's a good bad movie potential, but I just wasn't in the mood for that. I think I ended up settling on Election, which I hadn't seen in quite some time. I have no idea why Black Snake Moan follows this, because I didn't watch it. Maybe I just clicked on it on accident. But Election is a much older movie. Does it have the date on it? It's Matthew Broderick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Reese Witherspoon back when she was but like younger, in 1999. So back when I was in high school. So like it's all this weird perspectives of morality thing, and like Matthew Broderick is kind of like the ethics coach at the school, and the star pupil or whatever is Reese Witherspoon, but she ends up having an affair with a teacher And because he did that, he lost his wife, his job, and all that. Just put your dick where it belongs. I don't care where that is, but do that. It's better for everyone. And the guy did not handle it well. And then, so she just goes on with her life, because victim, I'm not saying she's not a victim. I'm saying, like, victim, like, just who needs to get on with her life. But now he has to sit there and see this girl all the time who he knows ruined his friend's life, from his perspective, not saying objectively. So, like, it becomes like this weird war thing, and he tries to passively aggressively take it out on her, especially since she's running for, like, class president or whatever unopposed. So he sicks Chris Klein, I think that's his name, back when he was young, like, up against her running for president, and then his sister gets involved because the girl that she likes starts fucking her brother to get back at her. It's a real fun mess of things. And then throughout all this, Matthew Broderick's character starts cheating on his wife with a widower, or a widow. And I think maybe she gets upset that he doesn't leave his wife for her, so she gets guilty and then tells her about it. And yes, he's the one that did something wrong there. But dick move. And if you're going to fuck someone's, like, spouse, you should probably just own up to it that, like, it's not a good thing. I'm not saying you broke rules. I'm not saying you're a good person either, though. Uptown girls live in a white bread world. So this takes me back, because this is back when Brittany Murphy was alive, and Dakota Fanning was because you look at her now, you're like, what? But they both act the hell out of this movie. Now, granted, Brittany Murphy plays, like, a really, like, shallow character, but she ends up being the caretaker for Dakota Fanning. Dakota Fanning wipes the floor with everyone in this fucking movie as far as acting goes. She's like a little, like, type A tyrant personality. And she's, like, OCD, so everything has to be just right. And Brittany Murphy is whatever the opposite of that is, because she's, like, the free spirit. Oh, I just put my panties wherever. I meant trash. I don't know why I said panties. It's probably because in my head, it's the same thing to her. It's like, these just go anywhere. And then I was getting ready to lay down last night, actually. This is the last item on the list for Amazon. Jessica Chastain and Jolene, which I had forgotten I had seen. Like, it's really a horrible movie. Not that it's a bad movie for you to sit down and watch, because it's got a lot to offer, but the story's just depressing and horrible. It's all about, like the hottest girl imaginable, just having this fucking, like, horrible life filled with good things in it, but none of which are good for her, and then a bunch of bad shit too, all of which is worse for her. And it's just her being, like, used and abused by people, like, her whole life. And it's not that she doesn't get out from under it and, like, take charge of her life, but it's that she takes way too long to get there. And in some of the cases, like, she is benefiting from it, but, like, she's hurting people, like, that she thinks she cares about. As far as I'm concerned, she's pretty much a sociopath. And she gets upset when she thinks you should be upset, but she legitimately has a bunch of horrible shit happen to her, and is put in positions where she has to do things that, like, she doesn't actually want to do. And for people who do want to do them, like, I don't have problems with that, but, like, being forced into it, which is why we don't have legal prostitution in the U.S., because there's too many bad people who would force people into situations or extort them into situations like that. And no, volunteer prostitution is fine and legal. In fact, if, like, we had a human prostitution registration or whatever, superhuman, I was trying to mimic the Superhuman Registration Act. So the Superhuman Prostitution Act, where you're registered and you check in with medical records and everything. Like, I think it would be fine. I don't think it would affect anybody. I think the only people like that would be truly upset would be like the super religious people, who are still just upset at everyone in general, and girls that finally can't find dates because men don't want to put in for a relationship when they don't have to. And those sort of things aren't for everybody. It's just life. Onto Netflix. Onto Netflix. I will say this: Lost in Space is awesome. Awesome, Will Robinson. Okay, I can speak. Really, really good. I cannot imagine the original being this good. The robot in this alone is worth the watch. Just seeing what they do with them. And there's kind of a fun philosophical argument of like, what is a person? Can people change? Are people the same after they go through a traumatic incident? People who have survived traumatic, like mass incidents, like, do they have the right to feel this way or that way about things? There's a lot of good stuff in there, especially like since the beginning of the movie, or the series is so focused on just let's stay alive, and then as more and more hope is built that like they'll actually get off world and back to what they are gonna have as a civilization, like the mood shifts and it kind of becomes a different show. I really enjoy that aspect of things. I think this was another late night watch. I kind of wish I had timestamps on these. Sing, it's an animated DreamWorks show where it's a koala who runs a theater is about to lose it because he can't maintain enough of an income to pay the rent or whatever, and he's got like this, let's just be honest, a very poor secretary who ends up mistyping the 1,000 flyers or whatever he puts out, and instead of being like a $1,000 reward, it's a award, it's a like $100,000 reward. And so in an effort to save his studio, he does something wrong, lie, to try to do the right thing for him. I'm not saying it's morally the right thing, I'm saying it was to his benefit, to try to save the theater, because it got them all the attention, it got them national news, etc. And so he puts together this show, or he holds auditions to put together a show of like different acts and whatnot. And it's like, it's this weird commentary on like manufactured artistry, versus being much more natural and organic about it. And it could possibly be this commentary on organic food, but I really don't think that's the case. Violet Evergarden, this was on the 22nd, so I don't know if... Yeah, it was just Sunday. It's like, I'm going to put something on, I want it to be on for X amount of time, and I don't want to change it. Because that's my problem a lot of the time, is that, like, I just want something on. I just don't want to touch it anymore. So it's why I don't watch small, short videos anymore. Typically, I used to definitely put on podcasts more often. I'll put on audio podcasts more often now than video ones, or gameplay footage that takes a while, because I watched Dodger do They Are Billions for like a couple hours. It's actually a pretty good game. It looks like cool RTS. But Violet Evergarden is about oh my god, how do I put this? I'm just gonna put it as plainly as I can. It's a young lady that was captured by a aristocracy and then used to develop a soldier, or used as a weapon to fight in a war. And part of the conditioning was that she was dedicated to Major Gilbert, is what we're going to call it. Long story short, she ends up losing her arms. He ends up gravely wounded, so they get separated, and then she gets sent in the care of someone who used to be a lieutenant under Gilbert. So she has these mechanical arms now instead of real ones, and so she ends up dedicating herself to the new job, ever wishing for the major, but she's emotionally stunted because she wasn't treated like a human most of her life. So like his goal with her is to try to get her to be a human. Her goal is to do well enough at her job because that's in her training, and then eventually see and hear from the Major again because that's her dedication. And whether or not she realizes like she's in love with him, but I have no idea what the situation is on his end. I don't remember getting there. I watched, or all the episodes were on in front of me, but I don't know what episode I stopped. So it's on my list of things to go back and catch up with, and I keep giving myself new shit because Riverdale and Black Lightning alone, I know is going to be enough of a mess all on its own. Let's see. Dude, I remember Kodachrome a little bit. Dude was Lucy Hale. Oh yeah, for perverts, Jessica Chastain's naked or topless at least in Jolene. Yay. And dude, I was actually surprised to see Lucy Hale get naked. It's like I actually like both cases actually legitimately surprised me because I had seen Jolene before and didn't realize that like she was naked because I really like I was watching the movie and like it just occurred to me, I'm like, is she naked? What's happening? Is this my world? Where are we? And then in Dude, there's a moment where she's like blown off steam because it's a young adult movie where it's all about like them kind of getting away with whatever they can get away with, and they live a very spoiled life if we're being honest. And then one of their Lucy Hale's best friend's brother dies that Lucy Hale was in love with, and so like they've got this traumatic event that they're trying to all deal with in their own ways, and the sister kind of like has it, but so they spend their senior year without one of their best friends, and so it's all about moving forward and moving on with life after a tragedy, and it's fairly interesting. You get a fun mix of like teen angst and fun. Kodachrome was interesting. It's the guy from on Last Man on Earth. He's the main guy's brother. What do I know him from besides that? Jason Sudeikis. I'll be completely honest. I turned it on because I wanted to see more Elizabeth Olsen. I enjoy her, and I definitely want to see another movie with her in it. He was with Sleeping with Other People. I would definitely recommend Sleeping with Other People. It's Alison Brie and Jason Sudeikis. Apparently, he's one of the voices in Angry Birds. He was in Masterminds with Zach Galifianakis and Kristen Wiig. That's who it is. Owen Wilson, apparently. Just seeing people flash by on this. He was in Drinking Buddies, but don't fucking watch that movie because that was a turd. Maybe if you like beer that much, because it's actually got a good cast in it. It's Anna Kendrick. It's Jason Sudeikis. It's the guy from New Girl. It's the one that she dated for a while, and then Olivia Wilde, who's great. She's probably the best one in that movie, but you're the best nut in a turd. Doesn't really help you. But Kodachrome was interesting because it's all about Jason Sudeikis' dying father. Elizabeth Olsen is kind of a nurse and caretaker, so she contacts him to try to get him involved in getting his dad to the last filming for Kodachrome because he's a big photographer, but he only films he only does analog. He doesn't do any of this digital shit. But he's a world-renowned photographer, and so like they go through all this whole mess of like him and his dad fighting, and then she can't take it. His dad fires her, and then like they kind of, obviously it's obvious just from what I've said so far that they bang. Like she kind of gives into that, and she sees that as a failure on her part, which is a shame for both of them because it was actually a sweet kind of thing that happened, and it wasn't so much like, oh, we're drunk. It was we're all emotionally upset, but we're there for each other. Which makes it even odder that she left, if I'm being honest, because not only is she the official caretaker, but like she's been emotionally invested for quite some time with his dad. But there's a sweet ending to it. I really liked it. I thought it was a very sweet movie when it came down to it. I can't relate to the father-son horse shit, but you love people, you love people. Oh yeah, so we can move on. I tried watching the IT Crowd, and I couldn't get myself to do it. I'm not ready yet. It hasn't been long enough. Still remember a lot of the episodes. It's kind of dated, and it's British. And I've seen the Irish guy around quite a bit. I'm really wishing I'd seen Moth somewhere else. I did try to watch Requiem, and it's English, and the girl's cute, but not enough to get me to watch the whole thing. I got kind of exhausted with it after a while, but it's all about like this ghost who possesses people and then makes them jump off shit to kill themselves. Makes them kill themselves because her mom ends up slicing her throat, and like that kind of spurs a whole investigation on her part into like what's happening, what's with this house, and like she found out that her mom had like an investigation board, and so she kind of builds on that. And then the town that it's all happening in hates her because she's just, from their perspective, she's just harassing people for no reason, and it's usually about people that they lost. So yay. A couple of these are throwaways because I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Henry Poole is here. I can't even bring myself to give it a thumbs down. It's the good Wilson brother, Luke Wilson, and Rhoda Mitchell, which I've seen in other things, I swear, but like when I go and look at it, like I don't recognize any of those roles. So she's just got one of those faces, I think. But Luke Wilson ends up buying a house where he thinks he's gonna die, and he's just trying to like relax, like he's trying to like lower stress in his life essentially, but like he's got one part of the wall of his house that like for some reason people think is like a magic Christmas tree, and if they pray to it, the God will hear them or something like that. And there's a couple like weird pieces of evidence to that and contrary to that, like throughout the movie. And basically just it pisses him off, which I thought was funny. But I only half paid attention. It wasn't very gripping. The Tiger Hunter, if you ever wondered what happened to Abed in Community, he starred in this movie, but it takes place in 1979, which immediately makes me not want to watch it. But it was actually pretty interesting, especially since he was an engineer at the time. So like probably a lot less programmers at the time, but like electronic engineers, especially from India and the Middle East. Man, your poop stinks. Go away. Get your butt out of here. Go away. You smell. I'll cover your poop. I'm calling that my fault because I gave him some chicken earlier. The Tiger Hunter stars him, and it's all about him coming to America. And the purpose of him coming to America is to get a successful job to impress the girl of his dreams' father, because in India, that's a lot of how you deal with things, is you buy women through prearrangements. I'm not saying that's how you do things now. I'm saying that's how they sort of did things back then. And even now, some places really haven't let up on that, especially more in the Middle East. I'm sure India's kind of gone through a little bit of evolution at this point. But it's a thing that happened. We should just all acknowledge it and move on. And sure, she's pretty, but like the winning point in all this is I'm going to call him Abed. I think it's Danny Pudi, but he makes fun of Josh Heater, the guy from Napoleon Dynamite, for a little bit. And then there's several other, I was going to say Indian guys, and I was going to say Middle Eastern guys, but India is definitely Asia or Indian because it's a subcontinent. And then Pakistan is kind of just on the other side of a mountain range off of the subcontinent. And I don't know if it's Middle Eastern or Asia. So we're going to call me a racist and move on, I guess. But the point is that he's like sharing an apartment with like 14 other guys or 16 other guys, something like that, something crazy. And like he really like pushes to become successful in making a microwave that perfectly cooks a TV dinner, to get all his buddies in him jobs so that he can one day be good enough for his future wife or waifu, because if we're being honest. I don't know. Like, it feels like a slow burn for the overall that story. I definitely watched Moana. I definitely recommend Moana. I'll watch it again. I could probably watch it later tonight. Who knows? But the fucking songs get stuck in your head, and it's a real bitch. Like, I caught myself like singing like "There You Are" at work today, and I was just like, no, we're not doing that. Not doing that. Nothing wrong with it, but like, it just, I don't like bothering people, and we have a pretty open area, and there's a lot of noise as it is. One of the few movies I can point out that has a perfect ending, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. I kind of threw it on to fall asleep to, and I definitely did. But that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It means that, like, it's familiar enough, and I like it enough that I can relax and do it. I still think Lord of the Rings is boring as fuck, and that's what put me to sleep for, like, almost a whole year. But Seeking a Friend for the End of the World is good. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World is good. Despicable Me 3... Oh my god, I think I hated myself a little bit at the time. Like, I don't know. I don't like this movie. I don't know why I watched it, really, when it came down to it. And, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's not great. It's definitely not the first. The first one was at least interesting enough. The story of the world that's been built, I feel like it limits it. The first one felt like it had potential to go anywhere, and then we saw where it actually went, and it was a lot of and so I can't really. I'm not gonna thumb it down, but I can't really get behind it. So we did actually do this last week, so I'm only gonna roll back. Like 8 days sounds good. So yeah, I definitely talked about the triangle last time. 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was trying to watch something with a friend on things. I was trying to do an extra stream, I think, after Scary Movie Squad. And so we threw on 10 Cloverfield Lane for about 10 seconds twice. We got distracted with YouTube videos and Ruby and other things. A lot of fighting videos. He might have a problem. But, like, Superstore was good. We got to see them fail the gender reveal. That was awesome. A gender reveal that doesn't reveal the gender. Really, why put the effort in? And, like, argue on behalf of, like, it being the right thing to do. That was fantastic. Like, Colin's really funny. He actually showed up in Good Girls, too. Or Good Girls as well. I'll mention that now because I don't think I'll remember if we go back to it. Like, he actually ends up pulling over. Oh no, it was in Dude. That's right. So he pulls over Lucy Hale, and she starts dressing her down a little bit. It's like, what is that in your back seat? Is that a bong? Like, who do you think you are? And I can't remember the famous person he named, but he's like, even he got arrested. I'm not gonna ruin your life, but I am gonna fuck it up for about a week. I thought that was such a great line. It's like, I want a t-shirt for that. And I think, honestly, if I ever got to meet him in person, I'd want to have that t-shirt and have him sign it. I don't do that a lot. I don't really believe in signatures having value. But I think that might be one where it's like, I liked this so much, I just want you to recognize that I like it. You don't have to sign it, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Or I'll give you the shirt. Maybe that's what I'd do. I'd give him the shirt, have him put the shirt on, and take a picture with him. That sounds better. AP Bio was really interesting because we got to see, like, the first, really, like, them trying to fight back. Like, they got some fetal pigs in because the school required them to do dissections. So they were going to, like, they were all on their own planning, like, oh, we can split up, we can partner up, we'll do this and that, and it'll be great. And then when he walks in the room, they all scatter, like they weren't planning on doing biology. And then he he ends up, like, commandeering them for one of his stupid plots instead of, like, doing biology with them. But it happens to be on the one day that he's getting, like, inspected by the school board. So he has to, like, try to get him back. Of course he can't. And it all turns out that it's because Heather wanted to do black guy. I don't remember his name. I don't remember any of their names except for Heather, if I'm being completely honest. Colin might be the ginger kid. I don't care. But Heather's awesome. So, like, plot centered around her, I'm going to remember a little bit. So that was really cool to see that. And, of course, like, she saves the day by bringing in, like, a big pig from her dad's butcher shop and then doing a demonstration on how to butcher a pig, essentially, instead of a dissection. So, because the principal's up for most innovative principal of the year, this all bodes well because all the other fucking idiot teachers did volcanoes for shit. Ridiculous. Oh my god. So, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know how this is supposed to be leading up to Infinity War. I don't know if it is. I don't care. It's really a lame storyline at this point. It's like the last few remaining members of Hydra are actually infighting, because that's what they do. And it's all about stopping the little Barbie doll from becoming the Destroyer of Worlds. She actually gets the power, or she gets like 8% of the gravitonium or whatever. But she can't control anything. She's losing her mind just like the other guy was. And it's a complete friggin' mess. And maybe it's Daisy killing her that actually ends the world, like the way it is. But the insanity of it is that the Air Force commander that goes on with to the aliens and actually presents like a solution to her problems, at least, and that's to kill S.H.I.E.L.D. and like resolve the rest of this, so that the aliens get what they want and they can try to, in theory, circumvent Earth in the warpath. Whatever. I did check out some anime. Honestly, did not get very far with it. I watched Shuffle, like one episode of Shuffle. It's a slice of life anime where, like, for whatever reason, this one random guy gets picked to chaperone or whatever the princess of the demon world and the princess of the god, or the heaven world, and he has to pick between the two, but the girl he lives with likes him, so it's a weird harem anime with a twist of supernatural proportions, and I just couldn't get myself to click on the next episode. I was like, I don't know. But at the same time, I wanted to go back and watch Haganai, which has no supernatural aspects, but is a kind of a weird slice of life. But it uses all these people who are socially awkward, so I don't know. Part of me really enjoys that. So Rick and Morty is slung in here and there. Really weird to watch it out of order, but also kind of refreshing at the same time now that I've seen all of it. And it is built very episodically so that you can watch it in any order, but if you do watch it in the correct order, there is an overarching storyline that happens that can lead and clue you into new things. So I did find a new series of sitcoms, little 20-minute episode things on Hulu, no less, called Splitting Up Together. It's the guy from Whitney who was like the main boyfriend, and this lady that I swear is in the Henry Poole movie, but I can't prove it because she looks pretty different. And the names aren't on, so that's probably a good indication it's not. But it's all about them. I don't know if they're getting a divorce, but they stay living in the same house because they can't afford to live. So like one of them, or like they alternate weeks living out of the garage, and like they've set up the garage in like some kind of weird guest house. So the off-duty parent gets the vacation in the garage, while the on-duty parent lives in the main house with the kids and everything and has all the responsibilities. So they just, like, it's slightly ingenious, and like it arguably is working for their marriage because it's making him want to actually be a better person now that he's kind of analyzing what went wrong. And it's like he's kind of under the impression that he has the chance to fix it, but she, being under the impression that he was moving on instead of working on himself, decided to move on. And it's just my opinion, but I think it's a lot easier for women to move on in these situations because they tend to have more options that they're more acceptable to, and because partly because of whatever levels of objectification we want to pick at. There are more guys out there that have fantasies about different things. So like she ends up with this younger guy who has a thing for like MILFs or cougars, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And so he does the thing that's perfect. Is like, I don't want to change you. I like you how you are. I just want to enjoy you. And then so like they bang in the car while the ex-husband or the husband, ex-husband, whatever, watches and throws a hissy fit. So that's fun. That's a good fun time. More Rick and Morty. I don't even know if I watched it. I think I turned on an episode of Maid Sama. Can't tell you what it's about. Yes I can. I apologize. It's like the school president or whatever. Like a highly respected role in Japan, a lot less so here. Like ends up having to work at a maid cafe, and like so she has to act and be cutesy and whatnot. It's seen as subservient because the maid is the help. So she kind of loses her credibility as a tough as nails leader by taking on this role, but she needs the cash, which is another thing that actually like would slide her down the not popularity pole, but like the respectability pole. I was actually really impressed with Bob's Burgers. They did an episode where like they were away at a camp for 3 days for a school field trip, which is just an interesting concept to do at all. But it's like an outdoors camp where it rains, so they end up having to be indoors the whole time. But of course, the Belcher kids fuck off and do whatever they want anyways. So they go into the woods where they're not supposed to, where there's a dangerous hermit at. They meet the hermit, and they have a good time or whatever, and then get some bad inspiration. It's really a fun cautionary tale of advice, this show. Whether it's Gene eating things he shouldn't, Tina or Luis being in social situations they shouldn't, or Luis just acting out. Because they have very opposite personalities when it comes down to it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is reaching interesting stride roles with the upcoming wedding and the change in job for Amy. That's right. Like I like that it's kind of focusing on her a little bit more, but we're still getting fun gags and everything because it's very much like Modern Family, where they have like A through E storylines. The how I say it, the episode or the part where like she chases down a perp in a wedding dress, not only was it hot, but it was really impressive to see the actress do that in general, let alone like imagine it happening in real life. That's how you become a famous cop. It's like she never's off duty, or Justice is never off duty, even on their wedding day. And it doesn't matter, it's on her wedding day, it's a good fucking title. As much as I was impressed with Bob's Burgers, I was equally disappointed with Family Guy. They did a like through history Family Guy. Like they tried to make it sound like they'd been around since like 1949 or something. And so they went back and did essentially commentary on the different eras and like what people thought was entertainment back then, to include the low-hanging fruit of Bob Zoom to the moon. It literally explained the joke so that it wasn't funny. Family Guy sends a lot of different messages in a lot of different ways, but usually you're able to laugh out of it. I understand that it's not a thing to laugh at. I don't want to laugh at it. Don't put in the fucking show. We're aware it's a bad thing. It's not really a surprise. Oh God. Genius Jr. I'm so happy that's a show that exists. I'm so happy to just watch it and give it the runtime that it needs to be a show and continue on. Because it's a Neil Patrick Harris thing, so it's probably managed to secure one season, but I would really like to see like a second season of this comes up. I think this is a great show. It's a great motivator for it potentially could be a good motivator for kids. Not that like the kids that I'm aware of are gonna give a shit, but kids that could be smarter will see this and be like, oh, I want to do that. What do? They memorize decks of cards. Let me try that. And they'll find little exercises like that to do that themselves, because the people who are motivated or naturally motivated are going to do things like that regardless of what you think of them. So it's really cool to see those people exist. The last man on Earth, the Blob. I don't remember what it is, or if we learn what it is, or whatever. But it's a whole episode about Mike trying to leave because he's depressed about being alone. Like, he showed up and everyone had kind of been paired off. So unless he's gonna have a 3-way with Todd and oh god, I forgot her name, blonde girl. Like, I really don't know what's gonna happen there. So he leaves to find anything else, and they're running out of food supposedly. So who knows if they're gonna have gas or anything. They haven't built any sustainability. I think like the guy who played Mac like had a whole plan that they were trying to follow when they were originally in, not Toledo, Pasadena, whatever it was. And I bet Mike's going to be the one to kind of come up with the leadership plan hereafter, because pretty much the only thing they figured out is like how to start repopulating. Because they're still kind of like running around smashing whatever they feel like smashing and having a good time with very little responsibility for anything. So I think we're lucky they're not sitting in sewage half the time. Last thing we have to talk about is Good Girls. I've already mentioned this. It's such a weird show. Like, Christina Hendricks is amazing. Not only is she beautiful, but she's a phenomenal actress, and her cohorts are very, very good. I can't say that they're commanding, because she really steals the show. But like, everyone else on that show definitely steps up as much as they can, and are great supporting characters, if not co-leads. But she's the badass mob boss midwife, or not midwife, suburban housewife. But she's been straddling that fence so long, I think her legs are getting tired, essentially. So, like, she went to a life of crime to try to have a one-off fix for her good life, got dragged into the bad life, ended up liking the bad life, but struggling with it the whole time she was in it. Then she comes out of the bad life against her will, because by that point she's starting to figure it out, and she's smart and capable. So now she's forced to go back to this boring, unsatisfying life. So she's fighting to get back in it. They finally get in it. They have trouble. They're dealing with that. They don't want to deal with the bad stuff. They just want the benefits. And then they get cut off again. So it's this weird up and down roller coaster of shit. In the last episode, she really stepped in it. Like, I don't understand why he didn't shoot her on the spot. Like, she got bold enough to like throw keys in his face, when it was really unnecessary. It's like, no, you did a job. You did something that everyone else does to prove that you've got the gumption, you've got the capability, and you've got the loyalty. Plus, we got to see that Homeboy didn't snitch, or he wasn't telling the right things, at least, or maybe he left them out of it. So now that's more information that he has as a leader, and she's acting in that role because she's like the sub-boss, underboss, for her group, but she's not seeing the whole picture at once. So it's almost this weird way of justifying mansplaining, but I think it's just more of like, hey, here's the guy with experience, here's who you need to look to, take the leads, and stop being such a bitch about it, really. Like, she is in command when she's in command, but like anytime that she's acting as subordinate, it's always like, I'm a fussy kid, and that dude is not a nice guy. There's only so far him liking her is going to take them. And to be perfectly honest, I think that's where it is. I think that's like the kind of the linchpin in everything, is that he really likes her as a person. I mean, of course, it helps she's hot. But I think that's what's saving them so far, is that he wants her around in general. So it's a weird way to put things, and like kind of like put like the middle of the season on. But I'm hoping that the other half of the season kind of smooths out a little bit and we have a good ride. And honestly, I would like to see it in an up note of intensity. Like, maybe that's where they're doing their next job, or like the next place they're robbing or something. Maybe they're moving up. I doubt they're going to get incorporated into the gang officially, but I would. They've definitely got. I can't wait for this. They've got to deal with the blackmailer. Because the stupid bitch is blackmailing them for like $10,000 a month, and then constantly throwing it in their face. And she pieced together that like she got dragged into something, like she's now part of it. And they explained to her that she's now linked. If they go down, she goes down. And then her kids are not gonna have a mom. They're gonna get split up and go to foster care because she's gonna be in jail and not be able to deal with it. And she's still bucking up against them. And I think it's a foreshadowing of Christina Hendricks' character bucking up against Rio, because they're gonna have to deal with it. And I think because the store manager is actually getting involved at this point, I think what's gonna happen is that he's gonna do one of two things. He's either going to blackmail the blackmailer to try to get back on, is it Ruby's good side, the cashier, and help her out somehow in exchange for something, because he's not a nice guy either, or he's going to use it to flip them by taking her down to take them down. So either way, the one problem gets resolved. It's just up in the air whether or not they all go to jail. But it could be well timed enough that maybe like while the gang is there to take them out, the cops show up. So with some of Rio's forces or bruisers getting pinched, that might put him in enough of a position where it has to be taken care of. And it is much later than I want it to be. So I'm gonna say adieu right here, as in I do watch stuff and things. Join us over on Rabbit/Kamurai over to watch some movies and whatnot. Fridays and Sunday nights. We do Scary Movie Nights Friday 9 p.m. Bad Movie Club at 7 p.m. Eastern for all times on Sundays, and then Weird Movie Club at 9 p.m. It's a good time. We have nice little chats and stuff while the movie's going on. Discuss comics, things like that. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to having you. So until we see you next time, I am Kamurai. Have a nice day. If you want to see anything else we're up to, go and click the annotations, and they'll take you to our other channels. Thanks for watching.